Good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is, let's start with Stephen, the independent thinker, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Aguna, the voice of reason. He'll be on in a minute. And my cousin, Todd. We've got a packed show for you tonight. President Trump takes D.C., the nation's capital, finds itself at the center of Trump's idea of what a city or how a city should be run as National Guard troops arrive. Stephen in NASCAR will see who was the big winner. Ukrainian President Zelensky dismisses territory swap proposal ahead of the Trump-Putin meeting this Friday. President Trump wants the Washington Commanders, we'll see what Stephen has to say about this, to use their previous name, the Redskins, and he wants the Cleveland Indians name to return as well. Joe Rogan slams Trump administration over the Epstein investigation as trying to gaslight the situation. Who is the best NBA player of all time?
Michael.
California launches a redistricting fight to nullify the Texas GOP plan, with Democrats poised to gain 5 seats. Governor Newsom says Democrats have until August 22nd to get ballot measures approved by voters. Former President Obama pushes back on Trump's outrageous and bizarre treason claim. A spokesperson for former President Obama called Trump's claim outrageous. 2025 NFL preseason week 1 takeaways on new players and the NFL world champion Philadelphia Eagles takeaways on their wonderful game. Trump's new statistics chief. I'm having a hard time talking this week. After he fired former statistics chief allegedly for a soft jobs report from the Department of Labor. That and more. If we can fit more in, I don't know how we're going to be able to fit more in. First up, Stephen with NASCAR. Stephen, I don't have any NASCAR.
Yeah, we haven't had to talk about the results of any races lately. So I'm going to go back a little bit with the Indianapolis race, which is a huge race. If you win that, it's one of the crown jewels, like winning the Daytona 500. Indy is huge, and Bubba Wallace ended up winning that one. Right now, he's 11th in the points, and we're getting ready. We're going to Richmond this week, and then next week after that, going to New Hampshire, and that's when the playoffs begin. So it's nice to be up there and near the top 10 if you can stay up there, because all the points kind of shrink. They bring everybody together, and it becomes a whole new kind of year. The playoffs is so much different than the regular season. So we had Bubba that won Indy. That was a huge win for him, the biggest win of his life, in most people's opinion. And Iowa was the next week, and William Byron won that. He leads the points as we go into the playoffs in 2 weeks. He's leading, and he won in Iowa, which he really didn't need to, but he did. And then we had Watkins Glen, which was a road course. I missed that because I was traveling, and I hate to miss a road course. And it was a good one, but now the road course, the third road course, where SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, we just call him SVG. It's easier on everybody else. He won the third road course of the year. So, like I've said, if he's in it, I got with my son because I was in a place where I couldn't gamble. You just bet on him. Just bet on him to win. If he's starting up near the top, bet on him to win. He's going to win. It's easy money. I know NASCAR is never easy money. Most sports aren't, but this is easy money. If he's in a road course, he's going to win. He does something that other drivers don't do, and they're starting to complain a little bit because I noticed his car just kind of drifts. I've never seen it happen like this in these races. He's not from NASCAR. So he's doing something that's different people's not used to, and they don't know if he's cheating. I don't think he's cheating. I just think he has unbelievable skills, and he is the road course king of this year and probably from now on. I've never seen anything like it. I've been a NASCAR fan for 50 years, and this guy is phenomenal. He knows how to work these cars. Now, the next race is that I said that's coming up weekend is Richmond. I love Richmond,
50
but Richmond has
years.
been a Richmond
How
has
old
been
are
a.
you?
I'm older than you. Richmond has been a kind of a hard race to watch since these new cars have come around. The new generation cars. Richmond has not adapted. They haven't changed anything. They haven't fixed anything. The NASCAR hasn't fixed anything, and the races are not exciting. They're not. It's not good racing. So they cut down to one race a year. We've had 2 races a year forever. So now they've cut it back. Last couple of years, they cut it down to once a year. And this race better be great. They need to be great. We used to start off the playoff season at Richmond. That's how prestigious. Richmond is one of the most prestigious short tracks. And short track racing is where it's at. And the other tracks are still holding up and they're good races, but something about Richmond. I'm hoping this week is good. I think, if I remember correctly, Richmond was pretty good last year. So I hope it's good this year. So we're getting ready to go to playoffs. This means a lot. People that haven't won a race, they can get into the playoffs if they can win a race. So it will be exciting. It will be a good race. I really do believe it is. I think it's a good position for Richmond to be in. I think they're trying to help them out because they've been around since the 50s. I think they're trying to help the track out to get more popularity built in, with the younger people. So I think eventually it'll work. And look at Denny Hamlin, at least for a top 3 here. He generally does very well. And that would be my horse going into the race. But like NASCAR, anything can happen except when a road course and SVG is racing, and just bet on him. But anything can generally happen in a race.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey.
I think we will move on. Anybody want to, you can talk about who you think is the best NBA player in history.
Who do you have?
Go ahead, Keith.
I agree with Stephen. I think Michael is the best. However,
Michael
my
Hitt.
personal favorite is Dr. J. Yeah, I remember him, and that's probably before you guys' time. But Dr. J, man, that dude was phenomenal. The way he would do his, he'd fly. He could fly just like before Michael Jordan could fly. So I mean, I like this dude, and I like his appearance, his look, his attitude. I mean, he had the big fro. I mean, back then, 70s
Yeah,
and
it
so forth.
was
So,
Dr. Duncanstein, we called him too.
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
he was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was
was just my
great,
favorite.
man. Yeah, he was
Yep.
great. It's got to be Jordan. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And I don't if you just have a bias against him or you have a bias towards somebody else, it's got to be Jordan. I think it's no
That's
no
right.
question. I like Dr. J as well, and I like Larry Bird as an all around great player. Him and Magic going up against each
Yes.
other. Magic's another great player too. So it's hard
Yes.
to say who follows Jordan, but everybody follows Jordan, and you can put them in kind of a different order if you want to, but it's Michael Jordan all the way.
You know,
I
my,
would.
the thing about Magic was he was such a good passer. I mean, the dude was
Mhm.
he was just such a good leader, on the team.
Mhm.
That
Right.
says a lot. He was a
Yep.
passer. He could pass that ball around. I mean, he was like a
Yeah.
globetrotter on the. He played like a globetrotter.
Right.
Cousin
He was very
Todd.
skilled, highly skilled. Todd doesn't have a favorite.
Uh, who's your favorite? You put yourself on mute, Todd.
Okay, what was the question? Who's the favorite? What?
NBA player of all time. Who's the best
Oh,
NBA?
probably Refrigerator Perry.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
See that, Steve? Yeah.
No,
Figures.
I put him at 5.
Todd.
Oh,
Refrigerator Perry played football.
Yeah, but he could dunk. He
oh,
could dunk a basketball though.
right. I forgot. A boy named Mark Rice.
Mark Wright. Who
Mark
was that?
Rice.
Who was that?
Oh,
Who was
right.
that? Todd Aguna,
That
whatever your name is.
that was a white boy who played basketball very well.
Oh, I'm surprised, Todd.
What is so surprising that white people play basketball? That's awfully
No,
racist
that
of you.
you like white people playing basketball. That's surprising. Wow.
What?
Your favorite is a white guy? Yeah, Todd, that's pretty interesting.
Oh, well, you know what? Just forget I said anything. Um, do you all know the the doll called uh Lulu? Are you all familiar with the doll called
I,
Lulu?
I don't play with dolls, man.
Oh, does your son play with dolls? Does he know about the doll Lulu?
No, no, you really have a niece or something that plays with
No,
dolls, man?
no, that's the new. Okay, maybe you people are old, so I know what would Cabbage Patch dolls. You remember the Cabbage Patch dolls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing,
I
same
remember
difference.
Barbie. I remember
But
Barbie in the 50s.
no, no, no.
And do you remember Ken doll? Barbie
Yeah.
and Ken doll.
When I
Right.
played with
So
my
Oh, you mean
twin, I was
Governor?
Ken doll.
You,
She was Barbie.
you mean
okay.
Governor Newsom? Governor Newsom? Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, he's got a crush on Newsom now. Okay.
No,
Well,
Newsom thinks he's a Ken doll.
oh, does he think that, or do you think that?
Well, I think he thinks it
Okay.
because he thinks he's so pretty. But go ahead.
Okay. Now, there's a doll that's called the Lulu. Well, I have a doll called the Choo Choo.
Oh,
Wow.
brother, what are you playing with dolls for, man? What's the matter with you?
It's got the Choo Choo doll. You heard of Lulu? Well, this is Choo Choo, and it's got a big hole in her head, but you can do like this.
Unicorn, unicorn.
Boring. I'm bored.
Well,
Don't know what he's talking
you
about.
don't have the Lulu, so
Oh, there's a
All
teddy
right.
bear.
look at
I
this
got the
copycat.
Donald Trump bear. You might
All
want
Oh,
this,
right.
Todd, in your collection. The Donald Trump bear.
I thought you just said you don't play with dolls.
It's a
I
bear.
said
It's
that.
not a doll. It's a
I
bear.
said that.
Okay.
I said
Okay.
that.
Thank you,
I
Todd.
don't
We
know.
are now bored. And I'm going to ask Stephen before we go on to the number one NFL
Oh, there
team
it goes.
in the world. I want to ask Stephen, President Trump wants the Washington Commanders to be named the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians to go back to the Cleveland
Indian.
Indians. And
Right.
what are people saying about that with Washington?
Well, the Indians that are in this country, they're all for it. They want representation. They're really upset that they got their representation taken away from them, and they don't appreciate it at all. They're like, why are we
How is
being wiped out? The
how is
people
that
that
their
are the Washington
representation?
Redskins was never a bad word. That's what they called each other. It was
And
this, the name Redskin came from an Indian that said use Redskins because they like it's not a word like the N word that people tried to make it. It's actually it's a compliment to each other. They don't think it's
Right,
a bad thing.
right.
oh, okay.
And
Well,
And
that's
you
that's what
would
why,
they
know
and the
call a
that.
only
white
reason they
And
man.
took
how
it
would
away
you
was
know
Yeah.
because
that?
of people like Todd and
How
rich
would
Yeah.
you
white
know
women.
that?
Todd, you
How
ain't
They
would
nothing but
because
a rich
they
white
referred
woman.
to
how would you
they
know
referred to
that?
call they
Because it's
referred to
known. It is
Just a
known. It is
minute.
yeah,
known.
Just a
they
I
minute.
yeah.
know it
Let
because
your
it's
lover
known.
That's
talk.
right.
Just a minute. How would you know that? You said it's known, but you're not telling me how
I,
you
I, what
found
I
that
gotta
out.
Because
find, I
they
gotta
were
give you a source. Do I have to give you a source?
Yes,
It's well
ma'am.
known. You're not
Ma'am.
gonna hear it. You're not
Ma'am.
gonna hear it on the View, and they're
Ma'am,
getting
I'd
ready to get
like the
canceled. I don't know
source.
what you're gonna do. You're gonna need a rubber room and a jacket with your arms like this,
Okay.
because you're not gonna have
Well,
the
now,
View anymore.
Okay.
No, it is very.
Okay.
I
Okay.
guess I'll
Okay.
send
You've
it to
already
Stacy.
said it.
She can
hey
send it to you when I
Stephen.
find it. I
Okay.
don't have it
Hey
handy, but
Stephen.
I promise you that the Native
Okay.
Americans have voted over and overwhelmingly they want their
Okay.
names back. They
All
want the
right.
Indians back and they want the Redskins
He
back. It
never
never should have
stopped
went away.
talking.
Okay,
He
thank
says
you.
the same
Thank you,
thing over
Stephen.
and
Go
over
ahead, cousin
again.
Thank you.
Todd.
Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
Okay. Now, you have no proof of that. You just made
I
all
have
that up because you got it
fully.
off the dark web.
I didn't make any.
Now,
I will
I'm
not
going to
lie to
move
you.
on. I'm going to move on.
I'm not
I'm
your
going to
boyfriend. I won't lie to
I'm
you.
going to move on. Now, I'm going to say some names. Do you remember what they called Chinese or Japanese? Or I'm going to tell you some names that you probably heard them because you're old as dirt. Wetbacks. Remember that? That wasn't a
That's not a
compliment.
that's not a redskin.
That wasn't a compliment.
That's not a redskin. That's a
my God.
derogatory statement towards somebody. Redskin is not. I'm going to have to educate you.
Okay,
I'm sorry. You don't
can't
know
keep
as much as
talking.
me.
Stacey, you have to tell that
Okay,
old
Stephen, you have to let him
geezer
finish.
to
Okay.
shut his pie hole.
Well, he's not making any sense, Stacey. It's painful. You can't compare a
Yeah.
wetback
You
to a
see?
redskin. It's
You
not the
see?
same.
You see, he won't stop, and all you do is
Stephen.
grin, Stacey. You've got to tell him to shut his pie hole.
Go ahead, Todd. You aggravate him. You get him
By
you
telling
work
the
him
truth.
up.
I aggravate him
No, you
by
work
giving him
him
the
up.
facts.
You work him up, and then
No,
you got to
Keith
tell him to
works him
stop,
up.
Stacey. You got to tell him to stop, Stacey. After you work him up,
Oh, brother.
you wind him up like a doll, and then you let him go and say, "Hey, tell that doll to stop." I just wind him up and wound him and wound him and wound him.
Okay.
Do anything?
Wetbacks, gooks, kikes. These are names. Redskins,
Not redskins. That's not true.
Geechies.
I'll bet you $10,000 you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
He won't stop. He won't stop. Pole crackers. All of these are names that white people came up to make fun of others. This is what your people did. The new niggers, those were Irish that came over from the famine. They were called the new niggers. See, white people made all of these names up to label people negatively.
Irish came before the slaves came. How could they be the new ones?
Oh my gosh. This is how dumb you are. You have no, now that just exposed you. That just exposed you. Now I'm going to give you some history, dum-dum. Africans were brought to this country to work for free. Do you remember what year?
So were the Irish.
In the 1600s. Now, the famine did not happen till long after that.
I've never heard anybody call anybody the new N word. I think it's something you're making up too.
So now you'll have to research that, and that's easy to research, Stacey. You could probably
then why don't you research redskins? Research redskins.
Shut up.
All you want to do is say bad white man bad.
Stacey,
Okay, Todd, you can't talk the whole show. Make your point.
I can't even get a word out because you won't stop this crackpot from talking. Now, he has no.
He's going to talk the whole show.
You see him? He has no knowledge of history, so he gets all of his news from the dark web.
All right, I gotta move on. I'm out of time, cousin Todd.
Whatever. I don't really care about slavery. Slavery goes on today. I don't really care about slavery that happened. I don't care about slavery that happened 100 years ago.
About slavery.
Slavery is the way of the world. We have it in this country. We have it in every country right now. Slavery is never.
Thank you. Aguna is back. Welcome back, Aguna. NFL preseason. Let's start with the number one team in the NFL. They are the who?
None other than the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm glad to see you guys are getting along well. So I'm glad the summer's almost over. So
hey, where are you, Aguna?
Rocking and rolling.
Where are you?
I'm out at the soccer
telling
field.
You where he is, so that you.
No, I mean, where is his face? I don't care where he is. I wonder where his face was.
Yeah, I can't be on camera out here. It's not enough lighting out here. I'm at the soccer field, so it's dark out here.
I got you.
It's not doing any good. But
see, that's a good father.
To that point, yes, Philadelphia Eagles preseason, and so I'm glad football is back. I mean, the Phillies are doing well in baseball, but this is the greatest time of year because you got season coming. You got Phillies are in the pennant, in the playoff race, but the Eagles looking good. They're looking good. They in the first preseason game they went up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Their starters, both on offense and defense, and they held their own pretty good. I mean, Chase is going to be Chase, so he has some great catches. I actually was able to take my son to the game, and so it was pretty cool to see a lot of action. It was a high-scoring preseason game. There wasn't a lot of mistakes. And so when you go and watch preseason, you expect a bunch of penalties and offsides and all that. There wasn't a lot of that. I mean, there was a lot of high scoring, a lot of action. So it was pretty good. I mean, I'm excited for football, and I think they're going up against the Cincinnati Bengals team that wants to get off to a hot start this year. And the Eagles are playing with a little chip on their shoulder, even though they're defending champ. They, there's all this talk about Jalen Hurts being a top 5, 10 quarterback or whatever, and having a team around him versus being able to help the team win. And so, and one interesting thing is when they got their rings this past summer, Hurts didn't even wear it. He's like, that was last year. I got, he has things to prove. He got different goals. So it's good to see that as a culture, the Eagles as a whole are focused on the next level, next step. Last year's last year, so they want to move on from it. They do have a daunting schedule. They play 11 games against playoff teams, including the Commanders. So they're going to have to play, and you're going to get everybody's A game when you're defending champ. So I'm looking forward to the season. If they can repeat what they did last year, it's going to quiet a lot of critics. But even if they get back to the playoffs, it's still going to be a great run. So I'm excited about it.
Okay, thank you. Steven, you want to talk about your Commanders? How they
Yeah, the playoffs were good. And if we can get to the playoffs again, that'd be great. We have Jaden Daniels, which is an excellent quarterback, but people around him is it's not too much. We have a tight end, Zach Ertz, 34 years old. We just acquired Debo. I love Debo, and he's been healthy for the last couple of years. And he's 29, so he could be a big help to Terry McLaurin. And that's what we need. We have a good running back, Brian Robinson. It's a pretty decent team. The defense isn't that great. But I do believe Daniels is going to just break out this year, be better than last year even. So and my only expectation, my only hope, I don't have expectation. My only hope is we make the playoffs. Everything after that is cherry on top. So if we make the playoffs, we win a playoff game, we make it to the Super Bowl, whatever. It's all good from there. Just make it to the playoffs, keep going. And we have good coaching. We have y'all have the worst schedule. We're number 8, so we have a pretty tough schedule too. So it's really hard. We're trying to gel. I would like to have a little softer schedule, but you make the playoffs, win a playoff game last year. It's kind of hard, to get a decent, easy schedule. So it's going to be harder for both of us. Hopefully we can handle Dallas and the Giants. You never know what's going to happen. But I'm rooting for the Eagles and the soon-to-be Redskins because that's the way God intended, and that's the way the Indians want it. They want their names back. They want to be represented because that guy on the helmet, that's a real man. They made him after a real man to be a Redskin, and they take great admiration of that. They love to have that focus on them, and it's it's people that are it's people that are naturally racist. Are the ones that hate it. They look for race in everything. And that's what my boy up there does, Todd. He's the biggest racist I've ever known. And that's why he goes after white people because he hates white people. And he says, well, the white people called them Redskins and kikes and kooks and pooks and tooks and tooks because he hates white people. And that's the mentality of it. But the mentality is going away. People like him are dinosaurs. The mentality is if a group of people want something, they should be able to have it. And if the Native Americans want it, they should be able to have their name. Okay, they should be represented.
Hey, Stacy.
Yes.
I wanted to make a point real quick, if I can.
About football? Is it about football?
No, It was going back to something.
Okay, no. Go.
Well,
about football.
He was trying to defend his boy toy for about a half an hour.
Todd, I just wanted to do it real quickly to give Todd, what he asked for. Todd asked for proof. Mm-hmm. Well, I have in my history collection. The bulletproof George Washington. Real quickly, this was a Native American chief, and he said in his words, he called George Washington the white man. He said, "I have traveled a long way and a weary path that I might see the young warrior of the great battle." He says, "It was on the day when the white man's blood mixed with the streams of our forests that I first beheld this chief." So it was the French and Indian War. And that was George Washington. This is true history. And the Native American, they tried to shoot George Washington off of his horse, and it didn't happen. And it went through his bullet, So anyway, I just wanted to bring that to Todd. They referred to George Washington as the white man, the chief of the white people. So there you go. He's acknowledging race.
What difference does that make?
Well, it makes a difference because if they acknowledge white men, then why shouldn't they be acknowledged as perhaps whatever they were, brown skin, red skin, whatever.
Thank
So there you go.
News alert.
But of course, Todd is not very logical.
Breaking news tonight, competitors joining arms in prayer tonight after a Lions player was taken off the field in an ambulance. The injury so serious, the game was stopped with 6 minutes still left to play. We're talking about Detroit Lions defender Maurice Norris appearing to go limp after trying to tackle a running back on a seemingly routine play. That play led to a game stoppage of around 15 minutes before the game was officially called. Of course, for obvious reasons, we will not be showing the moment of impact due to the seriousness of this injury. After Norris went down, trainers immediately brought out the backboard and players from both teams took a knee on the field. When the teams retook the field, the Falcons snapped the ball and stood without trying to advance it. Moments later, just a few moments later, players from both teams held hands in a circle around the football. With about 6:10 left on the clock, the referees eventually announced the game was suspended. Now, the 24-year-old out of Fresno State joined the Lions as an undrafted rookie free agent following the 2024 NFL Draft. Norris played in the final 2 regular season games for the Lions last year and also made 3 total tackles in the playoff game against the Washington Commanders. Norris had 2 solo tackles tonight before leaving the game. And head coach Dan Campbell spoke to reporters just moments ago, and he said this about Norris, quote, "He comes in, he works hard. Year 2, looking for the growth, and the kid just wants to get better every day. I don't even know what else to say, to be honest with you," calling him a class act. That's just a portion of what Coach Campbell had to say after the game was canceled. Hobie Artigue joining us now to make sense of this. Hobie, you watched that injury as it played out in real time, and you saw just how serious it is. But Coach Campbell had some promising updates about Norris.
He did, and that was the only focus of the entire press conference after the game. He had a short update on Norris. He said he is breathing and talking, and that Norris also has some movement. The hospital is currently running more tests. That was the most he could give for an update. But he said also that his mother is with him at the hospital as well, and how guys in that defensive back room have really taken him under their wing. He was mentioning players like Kirby Joseph, like Brian Branch, who have treated him like a little brother in a way. And we saw that in the locker room throughout all of last season. Always a smile on his face in the locker room. Your heart breaks for a situation like this. Also an ugly reminder about the game that we all love, but also the moment that we saw there between the Lions and the Falcons to show that brotherhood, that they are all in this together. Yeah. Pretty powerful.
Watching the seriousness of just how dangerous this sport could be play out, and then watching the players form that circle. The newsroom stopped. Anybody watching that game just stopped. Yeah. And you were watching what happened, and you realized just how serious that injury was, and also just how compassionate these players can be. Yeah. And the understanding they know how serious this game is.
Okay, thank you. We can talk about it ourselves. We don't need them to talk about it. Aguna or Stephen, do you want to comment on that injury? There was an update, according to the Pride of Detroit, almost astonishingly, considering how terrifying the hit looked. Wood said Norris went to a team meeting Sunday and was already back at training camp Monday morning. It's good to have him back. He's good. Dan Campbell said Monday, so obviously he's in concussion protocol. We're going to take it nice and easy here. Make sure he's good over the next, call it 10 to 14 days, and reassess. Thank the Lord that he is okay and he is able to walk and not be paralyzed and not be hurt. It's definitely a miracle.
Yeah, I didn't see the play. And I didn't know about it. Sounds like he's doing better, but he's basically a walk-on. They might keep him around for a little while for sentimental reasons, but he's already got really, really banged up. He's trying to make the team. I think it's gonna be hard pressed for him to make the team now. Maybe it was hard pressed for him to make the team before. So, but I wish him the best, and I hope something happens, and maybe they could find a place for him. You never know, and maybe they find a need for him, but it just doesn't seem to me that it's all that probable that they're going to hold on to him.
Aguna?
Yeah, and that's the scary part of the football, is because these guys, they put their bodies on the line every day, trying to just make this guy would be lucky if he made the practice squad, right? So that's not even guaranteed. So they're fighting. They have their moments where they're playing in this preseason game. They're trying to make a play, trying to showcase their talents, and this happens. So it's just a reminder. Glad he's okay. To Steven's point, he was a long shot to make the team, but the sad part about this is if you don't make the team, what about your health insurance? How is he? He may not play ever again.
Right.
And a lot of times they can cut you with an injury settlement in order to give you some, reprieve. But you still got medical expenses and things like that. You don't know what the long term ramifications of this are. But you saw how everybody rallied around him. Again, we're praying for him. We hope he does well. But it's just a reminder, this is a gladiator sport, and at any given moment you can have career-ending, injuries.
Yes, thank you so much. On to something that we know Keith knows all about. Let me share the screen, and then we'll have Keith talk about what he thinks.
Letter to President Trump just hours ago.
Yeah, the letter says he will call off California's midterm redistricting efforts if the president does the same. It all comes as the president has asked red states to redraw maps to benefit Republicans in the 2026 midterm elections. Texas is answering the call, trying to approve new maps that could result in 5 new Republican seats. ABC 10's Becca Habegger spoke to lawmakers working to try and stop that effort. She joins us with more now, live in studio.
Yeah, Chris, 8 days ago, Texas Democrats left the state to deny the state's majority party, Republicans, the quorum needed to approve the redrawn congressional district maps. Now, this comes as Governor Newsom has promised to fight fire with fire, as he says. He's proposing a special election in California this November to approve maps that would likely result in 5 new Democratic seats to balance out the efforts in Texas. Those maps, by the way, could be published as soon as Friday, according to the Assembly Speaker's office. But of course, California has an independent redistricting commission established ahead of the 2010 census to take partisan politics out of redistricting following new census data every decade. As we've reported, Newsom is proposing to temporarily bypass the commission, asking voters to approve new maps to favor Democrats through the next 2 congressional elections, returning to the commission's maps in 2030. I spoke with a Democratic Texas lawmaker today who stood alongside Newsom in a news conference Friday and is now in Illinois. He compared his state to what California is facing.
You have the government here picking its residents, picking its voters that it wants to cater to. And I think it's very wrong. But the people of California are really going to have a big opportunity to help out the entire nation with this referendum that's going to come up in November.
California Assembly Republicans call the strategy of Texas Democrats a cowardly one, saying California Republicans aren't running away. They're staying to fight the redistricting efforts here. And of course, the process to change maps looks different in each state. Lawmakers in Texas can redistrict on their own. In California, state lawmakers have to approve the new maps, but then those maps have to go before the voters statewide. So coming up on To The Point at 6:30, hear from another Texas lawmaker who now faces losing her job.
Okay, Keith, what are the Californians saying about this redistricting that Governor Newsom is proposing?
Well, there's not a lot of talk that I know of, but I'll tell you one thing, that they've already done that to us. So I don't know what this is all about. I guess they're just mad at Trump. They're just going after Trump. And that's what Newsom's spending all of his time doing, and our money suing Trump time after time after time after time, lawsuit after lawsuit.
For what?
But,
For
California
what?
has
For what?
already done that to the Republicans. Republicans are dead in the water. We are dead in the water in California in terms of getting any kind of friction. We don't have any power. It's Democrat run throughout California. So I just want to tell you guys that they've already redistricted us years ago. That's how we lost our seats. That's how we lost in California.
Yes, and bringing in illegals,
It has to go through a committee. So,
sir, I'm telling you, we have no power politically.
Okay, that may be true, but we're trying to figure out the purpose of, or what Californians think the purpose of redistricting will do in comparison to Texas. Stephen and then cousin Todd and Aguna.
The talk is about immigration mostly. I'll just tell you that, and crime. But go ahead.
Right.
That's
right. I mean, California would be great if they could redistrict and give the Republicans a fair chance to win an election, not let illegals vote, everything like that. California's, like he says, is dead. I was just out there. I love California. I love the West Coast. I love all of it, but California's dead. They're going to be even worse. They have a terrible governor that never should have been governor, that doesn't get anything done right. They need somebody like Trump. They need somebody like Trump out there to be the governor and get things done right and not hurt the American people.
Okay.
All he does is hurt the Californian people that are there. They want to move out. I want to move out there so I can help the population have some sense and help it get back to being right. That's what they need. They need the common sense that the Trump administration is bringing.
Were you guys able to meet up while you were on the West Coast?
No, I was in NoCal, and that's way from where Keith is. I was hoping to see him.
I believe
but
you.
it just didn't work out that way.
I believe you. So, this redistricting Texas is doing.
You can't talk the whole show.
Oh gosh! Notice they said nothing about Texas and what they're doing, and so Governor Newsom is fighting fire with fire. This is how you have to fight the Republicans. You can't be weak when you're dealing with Donald Trump's Republicans. So if they want to cheat and redistrict at a drop of a dime, California will do the same. So you'll gain 5 seats and they'll gain 5 seats.
Thank you.
Okay. And we're not, have we gone into, or are we going to go into DC?
Yes, not yet.
Okay.
Aguna.
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, when you talk to the politicians in Texas and ask them, why are they doing what they're doing? The response is because they can. They actually have the representation and they feel that these districts that they're changing were Trump leaning, that they were going to redraw the lines in order to give that segment of the population more representation in Congress. And based on Texas law, they have the purview to do so. And so if you're in Texas and you don't like it, you can always leave, right? So same thing goes for California. And what's going to happen is, and this is what happens when you push power back down to the states. It's always been there, per the Congress, right? Now, what you can do, you can expand the House for rural representation, but more than likely they won't do that because, again, you got more densely populated populations around the country than you do Republican, right? So you have more Democrats registered in these areas. So they more than likely would win the popular vote, which is what the House is supposed to represent. But what's going to happen is these districts are going to be redrawn. It's going to go state by state. And depending on how it pans out, you're just going to see a back and forth in the House. Now, the reason why the House is important is because even if more than likely they won't lose the Senate, the Republicans won't lose the Senate. I mean, it's always 50-50 or 50-50-ish.
I think they will.
In the Senate. But the House can bring articles of impeachment against the president. They also can railroad Trump's agenda. So that's why the Republicans are looking to maintain their majority.
Right, but I think the Senate will gain Democratic seats. Number one. Number two, okay, she's moving on.
Yeah, I got to move on because we don't have that much time.
Okay.
So
you got to look at the races, Todd. So it's not. Some of these seats are in red states aren't up for grabs.
But when you think about this man is taking people's health care away, they don't like that.
Okay, we're not going to go into that. Thank you.
Criticism from some of his biggest supporters.
This has been the first fracture in MAGA
over the Justice Department's handling of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. For days, many on the right have been criticizing Attorney General Pam Bondi's decision not to release the files, but now high-profile figures, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, weighing in.
It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it.
And podcaster Joe Rogan, an influential Trump ally in the last election, mocking the administration's response.
Like, look, where's the Epstein files? boo, can't find them, don't exist. Like they can get away with man.
Oh, yeah. Bondi has said there are Epstein files, but concluded Epstein did not leave behind an incriminating client list and that he died by suicide in 2019 while awaiting trial, contradicting right-wing conspiracy theories that he was murdered. Rogan criticizing Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel.
Kash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay.
For his part, President Trump dismissing the interest.
He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
And after his daughter-in-law said there needs to be more transparency, I asked the president about her comment.
Do you agree with her, sir? The Attorney General's handled that very well.
He has stood by Bondi's judgment.
Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
Trump, like many celebrities, was seen with Epstein in the 90s, but later said they had a falling out, and by the time Epstein was arrested, that he had not spoken to him in 15 years. Asked about Bondi's review.
Did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
The Attorney General yesterday deflecting questions about the controversy, but asked about those calling for change at the Justice Department.
I'm going to be here for as long as the president wants me here.
House Speaker Mike Johnson also signaled he'd support having Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell testify before Congress, saying he's for transparency. Maxwell is serving 20 years in prison for conspiring with Epstein. Her family is now speaking out, arguing she did not receive a fair trial and hoping the Supreme Court will hear her appeal. Savannah?
Gabe Gutierrez. Okay. Who wants to start with the Joe Rogan? Cousin Todd, let's start, but please, you don't have that much time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Joe Rogan, and as well as a bunch of other Republicans.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to move right
against Trump and Bondi and Kash Patel and all of the people that were saying, oh, these conspiracy theories. See, Hillary Clinton got a pizza parlor in D.C. where she keeps all these children and sells them out for sex and all this stuff. So the Republicans were licking that up. And then until
child sex ring.
Can you shut up?
It's real.
Stacey, you never tell him to shut up or get off the show. You allow him to do this, and it never stops.
Why don't you just finish what you're going to say?
Because you won't shut
Just finish.
up.
I said the pizza thing was real.
Shut up. So now they put it all on Epstein, and Epstein was having a sex ring of girls. Well, now the president's saying, oh, come on. Who cares about Epstein? When he was the one pushing this conspiracy theory, him and the other radical Republicans, now all of a sudden, let's drop it. No, let's not. And this is what's going to take the president down. This is what I was trying to tell Adina.
Wish in one hand and crap in the other, Todd.
Yeah, this is what's going to take the president. He won't shut up.
This is what's going to...
devil. This is what's going to take the president down. Conspiracy theories. Stupid stuff like conspiracy theories, which he was all for, feeding dumb people like Keith and Stephen. Now all of a sudden they turned on him. And what about his friends now? Marjorie Taylor Greene and all of these other radicals turning on the president.
Okay,
nobody's turning.
What about
they all turned on him?
Nobody's turning on him. And that clip from Joe Rogan. That clip from Joe Rogan came out a long time ago, right when Kash Patel and whatever dude, they came out and said, there's nothing here. I said, that's an old clip, by the way.
Old clip? What do you call old?
Okay, we don't have time for
it was months. It was a few months ago. And also, wait a minute, real quick, Stacey, real quick. The last administration had the same information that the Trump administration has now. If they had anything on Donald Trump for those 4 years in Epstein file, they would have used it against him. There's nothing about Trump. This is why this will not take him down. It's another wishful thinking by Todd and stupid people like him. Nothing's going to take him down. The Epstein whole situation is very deep. It's very dark. and none of us are going to know anything because
Why?
those people are up there and we're down here. We're never going to know anything
What does that
because
mean?
they are rich. They are powerful people that do not have to answer to you, Todd,
Okay, thank you. I
or
gotta move on.
Stacy or me.
Keith, was there a crack in the MAGA?
No.
Keith, she's talking to you, crazy.
What
And,
now? What are you saying, Stacey?
She said that they're cracking the MAGA.
and the
They're
mega
cracking
world.
the MAGA facade because of the release or non-release of the Epstein files.
Oh no, this doesn't move anything. This doesn't do it. This is nothing. This is nothing. It's
Nothing.
just a waste of time. You know, there's
They're grabbing
spiritual
at
warfare.
straws.
Yeah,
They
it's
want to
just
get something on Trump. They got
What
nothing
about
on Trump.
Marjorie
They're
Yeah.
dying to get
Taylor
something.
this is
Hey,
nothing.
Aguna,
This is nothing.
Aguna,
Thing
tell
about
these
this
people.
is,
Go ahead.
oh, sorry.
Uh-huh. Go on.
So the interesting thing about this is there are prominent Republican and Democrats in this, and that's why part of it is the reason why so never released them. And it's why it's probably not so. So at the end of the day, it is corrupt. It's not
breaking up.
necessarily there's
Aguna,
no
we really
there.
couldn't hear you.
It's there. But
We couldn't hear you, Aguna. You broke up so much we couldn't hear your
Yeah.
cohesive statement. But I'm going to move on. Please watch this, and then I'll we'll get your thoughts regarding this.
Growing across Europe as President Trump prepares to meet with Russia's leader, Vladimir Putin. The historic summit in Alaska this coming Friday is happening without Ukraine at the table. ABC's Johnny Fernandez has more.
Vice President J.D. Vance meeting with European allies in the UK this weekend as President Trump prepares to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. A U.S. official tells ABC News the talks produced significant progress toward President Trump's goal of bringing an end to the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky, who will not be at the summit, held a flurry of calls with European leaders on Saturday. Zelensky warning everyone can clearly see Putin's tactics. He fears sanctions and is doing everything to bail on them. He wants to gain territorial spoils for the second time already. President Trump missing his own deadline to impose sanctions on Russia, instead agreeing to meet with Putin in Alaska on Friday, marking the Russian president's first meeting with the major Western leader since Russia invaded Ukraine more than 3 years ago. President Trump has suggested a peace deal would involve exchanging territory.
There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
French President Macron saying the future of Ukraine cannot be decided.
Swapping territories.
The Wall Street Journal reports Europe and Ukraine have presented their own peace plan to top U.S. officials. It stipulates that ceding any land must be backed by ironclad security guarantees, including potential NATO membership for Ukraine. The plan also rejects Russia's proposal to hand over Ukrainian-held parts of the Donetsk region, according to the journal. Although Zelensky will not be at Friday's summit, President Trump says that he remains open to a trilateral summit with Putin and Zelensky. Johnny Fernandez, ABC News.
Okay, let me also, before I have you comment, I want you to look at this.
Prevent and very easily World War III, very easily. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly.
Okay, let's start with Cousin Todd, then Stephen, then Keith, then Aguna. Cousin Todd.
Okay. The meeting, which is going to be held in where again?
Alaska.
Alaska.
Alaska, which used to be owned by Russia, and they sold it to the United States.
Thank you.
And so it's funny that they should meet there without Zelensky. Who ever heard of that? But Trump he's like a little punk. And for Trump, and Trump is usually the one in charge, but he looks like a punk. He looks like a weakling when it comes to Putin, because Putin is dragging him around by his nose. He's not cooperating. He's not. And then he says, "Okay, I'll meet you in Alaska, but keep Zelensky out." And this boy is just jumping over hoops. It's just embarrassing.
Okay, thank you.
And he said he would have this done on day one. He would stop this war on day one.
That was his intention.
Day one is long gone.
It's not that long.
So he's not keeping his promises. Now, he did not promise to cut people off of Medicaid. He didn't promise that. He kept that quiet, but he snuck and did that. But he said he would bring this war to an end on day one, and he didn't. So he can't keep his promises.
He stopped 4 out of 5 wars already.
Oh my gosh! And what about what about Benjamin Netanyahu doing anything he wants to do? And
No, he's not.
Trump keeps begging him to stop.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Anyway, Trump can't.
Yeah, what
handle these
Trump,
boys.
what we all want to do is stop the wars and end all the death on both sides. And Donald Trump said that plenty of times. He's trying to. What do you think he's going to? He's got a magic wand in his pants. Is that what you think, Todd?
He said
Todd,
day
he doesn't
one,
have a
I'll
magic.
do it.
This would have been over a long time ago if little boy Zelensky, who should not be on a man's stage, if he had sat down with Trump when they did, when Trump and Vance had to shout him down because he was being a little boy. He should have taken that then, because Donald Trump said, "You don't have any cards, son. You don't have any cards. You better do something." Then he escalated this war. Now the best thing. Shut up, little boy. Shut up, little boy. Let the men talk. Trump and Putin having a discussion in Alaska is the proper way to do it now. That's 2 grown men and adults that are getting together to discuss. No, Zelensky is a player. He's playing a leader. Donald Trump and Putin are leaders. Zelensky's not. He's a little boy. So this is proper what they're doing right now. And then if they want to have a trilateral meeting afterwards, they can do that. But Putin is to be taken seriously. He has the nuclear arsenal. Zelensky doesn't. He's a little boy. He didn't acquiesce to Trump. Trump had a plan set up to stop the war. Soon after he got into office, they didn't do it. No, you just want to hate Trump. You don't care what the facts are. He's already stopped like 4 or 5 wars already. Your group did nothing but start wars, the people you support.
Thank you, Stephen.
You should be ashamed of yourself, Todd. Thank you, Stacey.
Keith, your comment on leaving Ukraine out, and Ukraine has been invaded by Russia.
They got invaded.
Well, once again, I'm going to say this, and I know Todd's not going to like it, but I really am not that. I'm not focused on that.
You're not
because
interested.
that has nothing to do with our Constitution. His constitutional duty is what I'm looking at. I really appreciate what Trump is doing. He's keeping his word with everything on immigration. And since we don't have time, I know we're not going to have time, but I love what he's doing on immigration. I love what he's doing on the Washington, D.C.
Doing on immigration?
What he's doing on D.C., take over D.C.,
Sending
federalize
people
it.
out of the country
Those are
due
the
process.
things that he's supposed to do constitutionally,
Without due
because
process.
they are not doing the job of fixing crime. Crime is rampant in our country and all over in every state, even yours.
No, crime
Stacey.
is down.
So that's what I do.
Thank you, Aguna. Thank you, Aguna.
Yeah, it's interesting how you're going to meet with Putin to discuss carving up a country without the country being there. I get it. I guess they're trying to talk about more so the sanctions, because Trump did impose some sanctions on India when it comes to buying Russian oil. But yeah, I think part of this is not trusting Putin. I mean, I think part of this is he's got to be careful because he's been in the KGB for a while. So he's been stringing Trump along for quite some time with negotiating, but still bombing and things like that. Exactly. I don't think that it's going to end. I don't think it's going to end the war unless he gives significant portions of Ukraine. So it's going to be interesting. I think Trump is trying to end this quickly, like you said before, and it doesn't matter whether or not Ukraine ends with dignity or not, because clearly, Zelensky's not there. So he's trying to save face at this point, which I get, but I just don't trust Putin. I think Putin's going to end up trying to make the U.S. look bad in this and walk out, because he's escalating right now. and we're supposed to be negotiating on Friday. He's escalating the war, so
And he's
if he
playing
gets some
Trump
gains, he
for
can have
supper.
that. He can come to the table with more leverage. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. But you don't need to pivot. Answer the question.
Yeah, and Trump is usually not played for a sucker. You can't make him the flunky.
You don't
But
know what he's
playing
doing. He's playing
himself.
4D, 5D chess. You don't know what Trump is
He's
doing. You don't know
not.
what he's going to say. You
He's
don't know what he's going to do
begging.
with Putin.
He's
All
begging
you do, you
Putin to
come from a
stop.
position of hate. You can't be
No,
optimistic. You can't say,
ma'am,
well,
I'm
Trump has done
giving
so
you
much
facts.
good so far. Maybe he
He
can make
hasn't
this
done
good after
anything
all.
good.
You
What has
have to
he
be
done good?
optimistic with all the success that
Oh,
Trump
get
has
out of
had.
here.
You have to
He
be
hasn't had
optimistic.
any success. He
You're
took
being
everything
unrealistic.
away from.
Will ever recover from addiction. That's 90% of addicts. You're going to put 90% of addicts in jail or somewhere or lock them up,
What about you? What's your story?
Same, I had some trouble, I had a drinking issue, and then I got an apartment, then I lost my apartment, and just trying to get it back.
G tells us many of the people here are navigating drug and alcohol addiction with nowhere to go. He did not want to fully show his face on camera. Another woman here scoffed when we asked her about the president's plan to remove these homeless encampments. Eradicating the homeless encampments is all part of President Trump's plan and now executive order to federalize D.C. The president says the feds will remove the encampments from the district's, quote, beautiful parks. The president says right now the parks are dirty and have what he described as a lot of problems. Homeless advocate Victor Angel says resources are needed for homeless in major cities across America, including right here in the district, and he's working to assemble a team to help.
The message is to love others the way that we want to be loved. Jesus did it best, and at the end of the day, if we can take that practice,
Jesus,
I feel like the world, we could do a lot better. And it's not about bringing fear or bringing a more abrupt approach, bringing tactics like armed forces. I think we need to lead with love, and that'll really help the nation as a whole.
The president says removing the homeless encampments here in the district has already started.
Canada.
In fact, he says some have already been removed. He goes on to say some of the people living here are not from here, saying that some of them are from other countries. And in this morning's news conference, the president says, quote, they will not be able to turn our capital into a wasteland for the world to see.
Can you imagine how insensitive?
Rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough.
Listen at that.
And they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed.
Mugged and raped.
And you all know
shot
people and
killed.
friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe, and going to a store to buy a newspaper or buy something.
Yep.
Okay. This will be our roundtable. We don't have any time.
Do you want to give the facts before you do that, Stacey? The facts on crime.
Yeah, just a minute.
They're not real statistics. They're not real facts, Todd. They're fake.
Of course, they're fake. Because
they're
Trump
fake. It's been proven to be fake.
Okay,
let them say this. Let them say this. I mean, they're not fake, but I still think
they
this
are
is a bad
fake.
argument. They're not
It
fake.
is fake.
There
There was a police chief that got fired from.
Steven, they're not fake, but they can be better. We shouldn't settle for them. That's my point.
They're fake.
No, they're not.
People are losing their jobs.
That's not the argument,
They're
Stephen.
putting out the wrong statistics.
The argument is we don't care that the crime rates are going down. They should be better. That's the argument. I don't care if they're fake or not. They can be better.
You just made yourself look dumb.
They're not going
I don't
down.
care
No, I
if
did
they're fake
not.
or not. They're not
That's
fake.
what Steven. I know they're not fake, but that's why my whole point is I don't care. That's not a good argument, Steven.
Then
If you're going to make an
true.
argument,
I
your
don't care if
argument
they
should
are
be
fake. That's
your
giving them
argument should
legitimacy.
be they can be better. If you keep saying, you're criticizing
They're
the source,
made up. They're made up statistics.
they're not. Stop.
I'll prove it to you. I'll send it to.
Okay, I'm going to talk. Can I
It's
talk?
already been proven.
But here's the point. No, my man, stop sounding stupid on here. Ty gets you every time.
I'm telling you
He
the
makes you look
truth.
like an idiot. He makes you look like an idiot because you always are going against the wrong argument.
You're right, Steven.
We don't have a problem. Let me finish my point. We don't have a problem with the president going after crime. He should. Crime in the district is bad. And a lot of stuff he's doing with the homeless, other cities are doing, right? You shouldn't have homeless encampments on the National Mall and all that stuff.
Right
what
on.
Democrats should not do is go after the fact that he's doing. I mean, you may be able to argue the way he's doing it. Maybe you're saying, because I'm not big a fan of federalization of things, right? I think, but the district doesn't have representation. Therefore, it's different. At the end of the day, though, to say, hey, stop throwing them homeless people out, doing all this other stuff. I mean, people here in DC, they complain about these things, right? We don't like this stuff, and so to say, I know the crime statistics are going down, but they should be better. You got kids running around here doing all kind of crazy stuff. You need to lock up the parents because they go and doing these flash mobs at the wharf. There's a lot of tourists in this area and stuff like that. So what the president is doing isn't necessarily wrong. Now, why he's doing it, considering that we got all these other things we got to focus on and got issues with, that's another debate. But at the end of the day, I think the Dems are going to get it wrong if they try to attack the fact that he's fighting crime. That's not a good look.
Now we give the statistics so we can get on to the.
Okay,
It doesn't matter. The statistics are not true.
Shut up.
Violent crime is down 26% since last year in Washington, D.C. Burglaries are down 19% since last year in Washington, D.C. Murder is down 12% since last year in Washington, D.C. Overall, crime is lower now than it's ever been in 30 years in Washington, D.C.
Not true.
I'll
prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. It's not true.
They don't reflect the fact that you got a lot of little knucklehead kids harassing people.
They don't count those in the statistics. They don't count the kids.
Right. So the statistics
crime is higher than it's ever been.
We're focusing on certain statistics, right?
Yeah, but that's skewing it. That's screwing the things up. That's not being honest. And they've had police chiefs in DC fired because they don't put the right information out. Look it up. This is what they're doing. The crime rate is through the roof.
Okay, so
they skew the information on purpose.
So Keith, is it right, because DC does not have statehood, for the president to take over and instead of being empathetic and doing things the way Jesus would do it, not get these people the help that they need? They're homeless, they have substance abuses, they need help.
Put them in institutions, Stacey. I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk of you, but put them in institutions. That's how you care about them. If they're dangerous, put them somewhere where you put dangerous people. If they're not dangerous, put them in a nice place. But get them off the damn street.
Who's going to pay for that?
The government is.
Government will pay for it. Government will pay for it.
That means you're going to pay for it.
I don't care. I'd rather my people be safe and your people be safe. We all be safe wherever we live.
So they're going to raise taxes to do that?
Keith.
Yeah,
they're going to raise taxes to do that?
I'm trying to talk, Stacey. Anyway, all I can say is that it's interesting you bring Jesus and what Jesus would do. Well, come on, God is waiting for us to take a stand and do the right thing concerning our Constitution. And I'll just say it this way. Here it is, Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and against domestic violence. So foreign and domestic violence that is occurring right now in our country has to be squelched first. And then you start putting people, and then you go like Stephen said, we get them some type of help in the institution of health institutions. We can get mental health help, drugs. We don't provide the drugs for them. There was the health official of California, right here in the state of California, has told a group of people in a town hall that we will continue to provide needles in San Francisco.
Well, clean
for
needles,
Jesus wouldn't do that. Jesus wouldn't do that.
clean
Thank you,
needles,
Steve.
right?
It
Clean
doesn't
needles.
matter if
Well,
they're
You're
clean.
okay with
They're going to
taxes going up.
continue their
Okay, thank you.
problem.
That's
You're
Stephen,
okay
irrelevant.
with taxes
Stephen,
going
did
up
you,
for that.
Clean
Stephen,
is irrelevant.
Stephen,
That's irrelevant.
Stephen?
They don't need to provide needles. They need to get them off of that stuff, and
You
they
need to get them
put them
off
in
of
the
Not
it.
that
hospital.
easy. Anyone knows getting someone
Then why
off.
don't you just keep them on drugs for the rest of the?
Okay, anyone
Thank you,
knows.
Stephen.
Anyone
Thank you.
knows to say that just get someone off of an addiction.
And they're not causing
Not
any
false.
solutions.
It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Well, they
You
don't.
put them in a room.
It's not.
They're
It's
not
not
supposed to be
realistic.
providing it.
Put them in a
They
room
should
for 6
It's not
months.
okay. Excuse me. I've got to talk. It's not realistic to say just get someone off of an addiction. Obviously, you've never been addicted. You don't understand how
You don't
hard.
know any of us like that, Stacy. You don't know any of us that well to know that any of us ever been addicted by
So have you
anything.
been
We know
You
you've
addicted?
don't
been
Have you
continue.
been
addicted.
You
We
addicted?
don't
know
buy a
you.
drunk a fifth of whiskey. You don't do that,
Have
Stacy.
you been addicted?
I'm
Yes,
not
he
getting into
has.
personal
Look at
business,
him.
but I'm
Look at
saying
him.
you don't know us that well to say we don't know
You
addiction. We know it. Some of us
Steven's
know
been
addiction.
addicted. You
You
Okay.
know
don't
Steven's
know
been
us that
addicted. Look
well.
at him.
Okay.
But
Well,
I'm
for
saying
Keith
you
to
don't
say,
feed
I'm
anybody.
gonna
Look at that
finish.
face.
I
I'm
know
gonna
him.
Look at that
finish.
face. You know he's been
For
addicted.
Keith to say just
You
get
don't feed
them
anybody.
off. For Keith to say just get them off of addiction, I think is
Dumb and ignorant.
it's
No,
not
it's not. I've never been,
understanding.
but I have friends that have been addicted and they can get off their addiction when they get
No.
the right treatment
It's
and they get the right help.
Thank you, Stephen.
Giving them needles, incentivizing them to do more drugs is not helpful at all, Stacy. So you don't know what you're talking about at all, honey. Maybe you don't know anybody that's ever been addicted, sweetheart. Maybe you don't know what you're talking about, baby doll. But I can tell you that you don't feed anybody's addiction when you're trying to help them. It doesn't help
Look
them.
at Keith. He
Jesus
loves
did
it.
not turn a
He
little
loves
piece of
it.
crack into a mountain of cocaine. Okay? This is not what Jesus would. Jesus would tell them to not sin anymore. Do not sin anymore. That's what Jesus would do. And he would help them. That's what we should help people that are addicted. We don't give them needles. Oh, the needles are clean, Stacy said. Oh, they're clean. Oh my God, give me a handful of them. I'll stick them in every part of my body then because they're clean. Stacy, you're not making any sense. Sometimes you got to listen.
Stop talking.
He's going off. I don't want to pay for any of that.
You can't
I don't
listen
want
when
to
you
pay for
mute me
that.
out. You
I
can't
don't want to
listen
pay
to me
for
when
it.
you mute me. You're going
I
to
don't
learn
want to pay
something.
for any of that.
Well,
Okay,
you're
I'm
paying
done.
for the
Stop, Steve.
I'm
needles.
done.
He's
Stop
You're
going off.
talking.
paying
He's
for
I'm
the
going off
gonna
the
needles,
rails.
man.
respond. I'm gonna
I don't want to
respond.
pay for that stuff, Keith.
I'm
And if
gonna
you make me pay
respond.
for it,
I'm gonna respond. You're not gonna talk over me. I'm gonna respond.
Bugged or something
Stephen,
by the
you're
homeless
not
people.
Stephen, you're not gonna talk over me. I'm gonna respond. For you to say that I don't know anything about it, I've never suffered from addiction, but I have been instrumental in the treatment and I have training in assisting people with addiction. So to say that people can just get off of being addicted to something is incorrect. I have master's level training.
Master's level training tells you that you should give people needles and
No,
encourage them to do
I didn't
drugs.
say that. What I
The reason there's
what
giving
I
them
said
needles
was
is so
they
they
get
don't
the
get
clean
AIDS.
needle so that they don't get sicker from doing the things that they're doing.
Put
Because
them in a center and help them. Give
now,
them medicine that'll help them
Laguna,
get off whatever they're on. Don't let them shoot up no more.
Laguna was next.
yeah. So unfortunately, Stacey, you can never get a good dialogue on your show because of that nonsense. But at the end of the day, if I, as an American citizen, don't want to pay for that, which is my choice, because what's happened, what Keith and Steven keep talking about, is spending my money for things that I may not agree with. I may not agree.
You don't want
with
homelessness.
Like
let
needles.
me finish. I'm not. I didn't interrupt you guys.
What
At
is
the
your
end of the day,
solution?
shut up.
What's your
What's wrong with
solution?
you? Shut up, Steven. Thank
Give
you.
us a solution.
You haven't given a solution. At the end of the day,
I
I don't
have.
want to
I
pay
said
for it.
put them in
I
treatment
don't need to have a
centers.
solution. I don't need to have a solution. At the end of the day, I don't want
Put
to
them
pay
in
for it. That's
treatment
my right as a
centers.
citizen. That's a right as a citizen to say, I don't want my money to go for that. And if you say I have to, that means you're robbing from me, which is going against your own argument. It's easy for you to spend somebody else's money by saying you need to do this, you need to take care of these people and all that other stuff. You guys don't want to do that. That's why you don't want your taxes to go up. So now you're talking about, hey, spend my money for something that somebody else is throwing on to me as a problem. I don't want to do that. That's my choice.
Like the
It
needle.
could be a state. It could be a
Notice
state
how
issue.
ignorant you guys ignorant. You sound ignorant because you guys keep on harking on just the needle issue, but it's a broader argument. So the more you guys keep on saying these little stupid things, the ignorant you look. So stop.
Right.
You're
That's
paying for the
great.
needle.
Yeah.
Where do you think they get the money from?
See, I know intellectualism offends you.
Yeah, you're so
paying for the
smart.
needle.
You have no solution at
You
all.
know
You have no
about
solution.
addiction. You know
You're a
addiction.
genius. You
How
wear
long
a
you been
hat so your
addicted to
brain doesn't
ignorance,
fall out
Stephen?
of your head.
You're ignorant, Stephen. That's why you're addicted to ignorance.
You're more ignorant.
Stop, Stephen. Stop. You lost. You lost,
more-
Stephen. Stop it. Accept it. You lost. You lost.
You're more
Stephen.
ignorant.
You lost.
She don't mute you.
Accept it. Accept it.
She don't
Stephen.
mute
lost.
you. She don't mute you.
Cousin Todd.
You're ignorant. She don't mute you. You're ignorant.
Stephen,
She don't
stop
mute
throwing a
you.
temper
She hasn't
tantrum.
muted you
It's
one time.
okay. Go to
You're
timeout.
ignorant.
Go to
She
timeout.
never
Calm
mutes
down.
you. Good.
It's okay, Stephen. You lost.
I ain't never lost yet. Not to no bum like you.
Oh, who are you?
Ignorant.
Anyway,
Ignorant. I'm ignorant. That's his word for the day.
Shut up.
See?
Now these people.
Every time he says ignorant.
Keith, Stephen. These people who are on drugs, Keith and Stephen want a solution for them, which is unlike Republicans, but they want a solution. And I have a solution. Those people who are on drugs, you should gather them all up and throw them in jail. That's your solution. Remember how they used to do when blacks was on crack? And they would throw them in jail and give them 5 and 10 years in prison. Why not keep doing that? I think it's a brilliant idea. Why not?
I like my
they're
solution
committing
better.
crime.
I
If
like
they
my
commit
solution
crimes,
better.
yes. If they go to jail. Yeah.
You take care of
Commit crime, go to
of the
jail.
people. You don't let them live like dogs outside
Thank
in a
you
tent.
to our first responders in our communities. You make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to our women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do and sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, who got away, the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd. I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going. Finally, on Twitch, X, Facebook, Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network, Instagram, and TikTok. On TikTok, our site is called Sporlitiks.com on TikTok. Did I miss anything else?
No,
YouTube?
I don't think so.
Oh, YouTube. Yes, you're right, Stephen. Stephen is right. Like and
I
subscribe.
want once in my life.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sporlitiks. And we are so happy everyone is back, including Aguna. We'll see you next week. Good night. All right, we're glad about Aguna. We're glad Aguna is back.
Well, he's got the Obama phone and the Obama computer.
Yeah, I'm going in and out.
And he's
So
going,
I'm on my phone versus my computer. That's why I think.
yeah, and that's the Obama phone.
Well, Stephen,
So it's
hey,
not your fault.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I made a good point, you guys. That's a very good point in the Constitution. You know, the fact that
No,
we
it
need a
wasn't a good
Republican.
point.
No,
You don't have to
seriously,
pat yourself on the
seriously.
back.
Well, let me just hear me out. I'm talking about a
You made a good
Republican.
point. I made a good
I'm
point.
talking about a Republican form of government, not a democracy. We need a Republican form of government to come back. We need to preserve it so
Okay,
that
but
we
you're
will
not
get rid
talking
of
about the
socialism.
problem. Okay, you're not talking about the problem.
You don't want a
The
republic.
president of the United States taking over
No.
District
Yes.
of Columbia.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly. That's not.
Republican
That's
form of
not.
government.
That's not a
And
Because the
why?
Republican form of
District of
government.
Why
Columbia,
didn't President Obama give District of Columbia statehood?
Statehood and Puerto Rico.
because these people are socialists. They're communist socialists. And
So
they are
that's
not going
why
to
they should
govern
have
according
given
to
them.
Republican principles.
Okay.
We need I'm not talking about the Republican Party. I'm talking
No,
about
Right.
Republican
you're not
principles,
answering what she just
representation.
said.
There
Why
is
didn't?
no representation in D.C. We heard it from Aguna. He said it.
Okay. Listen,
Right.
Stacy's question was,
So
why
why are you
didn't
saying the
Obama
Republican?
give them statehood
Republican,
along
the
with Puerto
Constitution
Rico?
says, well, the
So
Constitution
so
says
they should have
Republican.
so they should have a Republic in D.C. So they should have representation.
Representation is talking about a Republican form of government. A form of government
So
means
should
that
the
we have
people of D.C.
representation.
have representation? Was the
Of
question.
course they should,
They
as
don't.
well as Puerto
They're
Rico.
I'm
representing
not
the
saying they
laws.
do or they don't. Should they? The question is, should they?
Yes, yes. That's
So
why the
why didn't the
president.
president give it to them?
Well, the
Instead of taking
president
it
Any
has
home?
to.
president.
He has to take control and get order back to back to the city. Once he gets order back, then he will. Then representation will be able to resume. I'm pretty
There
sure
Right.
is
that
no
that's the way
That's
it's
not how
going to.
that works.
representation.
That's not how
And
that
there was
works.
never
Well,
any
we'll see.
representation.
We will see since he's
Oh my
taking it
gosh.
over.
All
We will
right.
see. All right,
I
we'll
mean,
guarantee you. Let's see what happens in the next few
He doesn't know
weeks.
what he's talking about.
yeah,
I
he's
trust
just
Trump. I
babbling because
trust Trump until he lets us down. When he does, I'll
taking
tell you, I'll
We got
over.
trust
to
him.
have control of the violence. He's talking about
I
violence.
trust
It
him.
says it right here.
You know,
Violence.
National
He's
Guard is
talking about
deployed in New York,
domestic
He did
and
this
violence.
and
in
all the
California first.
He's got to
National
get control of the
Guardsmen. When I take
domestic
the train,
violence.
when I take the train to New York and get off the train, the National Guardsmen on the train station. So this is nothing
Okay.
new to have a show of force, especially after 9/11 and stuff like that. So you're
Sounds
sitting here
good.
saying control is control. I mean, at the end of the day, how much is this costing? What is the plan? Again, if you could say you could put FBI agents on every corner and think you have control, but what is the actual? Is that sustainable? And how much is that costing?
Right. That's a good point. Well, I can
How much
answer it
does it
this way.
cost not to do anything?
Once
You
we
have
get
to clean these cities
control,
up.
once you get external control, then we can work on the education of the
Clean these
citizens.
cities up. Okay, so you should cleaning these cities up also means giving people the right to govern themselves and giving
That's
people, because
right.
again, if you give people representation, they can kick out the people that aren't doing their jobs and put in the right
Yeah.
people. But that should
But
be
they
up
don't.
to
We've had decades of poor leadership in
so what you're
all these
talking
different
about then
cities.
but you're not talking about a republic then, Stephen. You're talking about a dictatorship. So you're saying I got to
It's
go in
not.
there and clean these up for them. They shouldn't have their voice. That's not a
You got
republic. That's not a democracy.
if it's completely upside down, somebody has to do
So it's
something.
okay. So it's okay to be a dictator in temporary.
He's not being a being a dictator. He has the powers of a president to do what he has to do.
The people?
That's not being a dictator. He's following the Constitution.
But you just saying
a dictator doesn't follow the
But you're saying
Constitution. He
it's
does.
okay temporarily to not give the people a choice. You're dictating to them.
The government that is running it is totally corrupt. Something needs to be done. Donald Trump has been on time on everything he's done so far. A couple things haven't gotten done because he's not God. But everything he's promised, he's done.
He can do
Let's
no wrong.
put some faith in the fact that he's trying to do a good thing, because it seems like everything he does comes from a good point. He's trying to do it from a good point to help everybody. If you're an American, Donald Trump is on your side.
But if he's following the Constitution, though, shouldn't he allow Congress to do his job?
What is Congress going to do, man? Congress is so ate up
I'm
with
just saying,
themselves. I know what you're saying, but in reality, you got Congress that is bought and paid for. Both sides are horrible. Congress has about what, a 10% approval rating.
But now you're cherry picking what
I'm
rules
not.
to follow and not to follow. And again, I'm not saying Donald Trump is doing a bad job or a good job. I'm just saying that we got to be careful. And even the founding fathers warned about the powers of the executive branch. So it's not saying
I agree. I think he's right on time with his powers.
With the powers, especially ruled by executive order.
I agree.
But just because you like him,
let's trust the process as it is.
You trust him. So if
he hasn't been nefarious so far.
If President Obama or Biden was doing the same through executive order, even though he was given the constitutional power to do so, you guys wouldn't agree with it.
No,
He
I didn't.
hated
No,
Obama to
no.
There's
executive
no
orders.
there's no towns, there's no places that are as bad as run by Democrats right now, like Chicago.
Right.
Hopefully, we can go in there and help
But here's the
Chicago.
thing: you say how bad California is and how bad California is run. The seventh largest economy in the world. California makes it possible for Mississippi and these other southern states
And so
to
does
have
New
food
York.
on their table. Yeah,
And
they
so does New
pay the
York.
majority of the aid for the whole country. So you're
So does
saying
New York.
these democratic cities are bad, but they create the most commerce for the country.
They need to be cleaned up.
So do you
I
stop?
mean,
Do you stop their money? You know, if you're going to
I
do
mean,
that,
they're
Well,
highly dense areas.
is
There's a
money what
scarce
determines
population.
civility? I mean, having more money, does that make
It
you a
helps.
better country
It
or a
helps.
better?
No,
Is
It
that
definitely
it?
helps. Which is the
no,
reason why
because
we're
all
the
the
number
money
one
gets
economy
funneled
in
to
the
the
world.
top. All the money gets funneled
We're
to the
the
top,
number
and it's
one
corrupted.
economy in
It's
the world for
corruption.
the reason. So would you rather be the last country in the world then, the poorest country in the world, or the
No,
Well,
richest?
you say
we
you
are
said
we are the
did you say
richest.
we're the number
And
one economy in the
no.
yeah,
world?
we're the largest economy in the world. We're the number one.
Yeah.
No, he said California. You said California was the
No,
seventh.
California
It was the
ranks up.
seventh largest economy in the
Yeah,
world, just the
but the
state of
United States is
California.
number one.
Okay,
Right.
good
So
night.
you're
I'm
Out
done.
you
of
can't
time.
All right. Good night, y'all. We good.